Okay, so it's day one of a 3-day meeting here. It's a bit overcast and rainy now, but it's due to get much better later on in the weekend.
Brighter and faster as well. First round for the FIA and the FIM. FIA, first of all, cars, Top Fuel Dragster is going to be so exciting this summer. Thomas Nator's defending champion, #1 from last year, but new car as well for Anita Merkele, new parts, everything for Zerbacher as well. It's going to be really, really exciting. We've got the door cars, both Pro Stock. Jimmy Orland's been racing in the States and won over there. Can he do it here? He's defending champ. He's probably got a good chance. Pro Modified, Mickey Gallquist, lots of new stuff as well, but more guys challenging him. Top Methanol Dragster and Funny Car. We've got the Habermans back, the two brothers from Germany. They're going to be really, really fast. And Top Methanol Funny Car, lots of Scandinavians. Again, it's going to be very fast.
Okay, so what about on two wheels?
Well, the FIM bikes, again, Ian King's another guy who's been to the States, raced and won the first round over there in Valdos to come back to defend his European crown. I think he's got a pretty good chance. Also, Frederick Friedland, Pro Stock bike, another guy been racing in the States. Frederick didn't do quite so well, but that's a very, very competitive class. I think he's got a good chance again back in Europe. And on to the Super Twins, defending champ Ronnie Orson. If they can just get that bike to hold together without any problems at all, they'll be untouchable. But that's the key thing. They're very inconsistent, those bikes. They can hold it together. It's going to be fantastic.
Really looking forward to the new season. Let's get racing underway.
Well, it's time for qualifying here this weekend. Absolutely gorgeous weather. It's going to be very fast and very furious.
You're responsible for this event. What do you think of the show so far? Glorious weather, great crowds. What do you think?
Yeah, it's the first round of the season, so first round of the year gets really difficult because a lot of the cars have not been out before. It's especially the big cars, Top Fuel, it's their first race of the year. They don't get a lot of testing time before this, so given the track conditions, it's really good. I think we're going to see some real fast times in the first round.
Where does the season go next?
From here we go to Finland, from Finland to Sweden, from Sweden to Germany, and back here for the finals in September.
And what would you say to the people that haven't been drag racing before?
Try it. It's fast, it's noisy, and it's exciting.
We're going to kick off qualifying action with FIA Pro Modified. The first sessions of the weekend are underway, and the crews are loving the progress they're making. We're going to catch up now with the #1 from the championship last year.
You're obviously the defending champion. How do you think you're going to get it on this season?
We have to start. I mean, this is a starting point for the season for us. We did some changes on the car over the winter, and I think we have to wait and see what happens here today, and then we'll just take it from there.
In terms of the new season, who do you think your main competition is going to come from?
There's a number of guys that can be really hard to beat this season, and I think Matthias Vulkan was the runner-up on the championship last year, and he is always a threat.
Well, far side of the racetrack is that man, Matthias Vulkan, going all over the place, but also Roger Johansson returning to SantaPod with the nitrous Mustang and nearly collecting the wall as well. Heart-stopping moments for these wonderfully high horsepowered door cars. This is Roger Moore on board. And just to show you how difficult they are to drive as well, Roger nearly collects the wall as well, but he went left instead of right, which was what Roger did. Really, really not easy things to control. About 3,000 horsepower in a short door car, but was there ever any doubt that Mickey G would get the hang of it again? Goes to #1 so far, 5.99, 240 miles an hour. Well, the next highlight in qualifying, far side, Norbert Kuno near lane, Mark Mayhausen from the Netherlands. And you're watching the #1 qualifying run at 5.98.
Okay, Thomas, how do you think this season's going to go for you?
Yeah, we are hoping for a good season, of course. We will give it a hard, might be a hard time with all other guys because many of them have proven to update their engine.
Tell me what it's like driving at SantaPod for you.
SantaPod, it's like the heritage of drag racing. It's a long way here, it rains a lot, but goddamn when you just release the clutch, full throttle and go down, and you go under the SantaPod signs in the end, that's nothing compares to that.
Well, we're going to check out some of the qualifying action from FIA Pro Stock. Far side of the racetrack, that's Magnus Pedersen from Sweden. With the Pontiac GTO, really nice strong run for him. And down in the 6.6s already, 6.69, 205 miles an hour, but that would not be enough to get him number one, because the man you're about to see, or two men you're about to see, it's the Thomas and Jimmy show. Once again, Thomas Lindstrom and Jimmy Orland. Jimmy, fresh back from a win in the States. Can he go to number one at SantaPod? You bet. 6.53.
Okay, Jimmy, congratulations. Brilliant qualifying.
Yeah, we started out a little bit soft, went to 61 the first round and stepped it up to 55 second round. And then they gave us a third round because we didn't get any runs the day before, so we nailed it there, went to 53, 1,000 from the record.
Great conditions, did that help?
Yeah, it was a good track, good conditions.
Next up, we move up the horsepower ladder to top Methanol funny car.
Okay, Johan, you had a run yesterday. How do you think you're going to do today qualifying?
Hopefully it will go faster. So the team has worked quite hard with the car all winter long, so hopefully it will work out good.
How do you think the season's going to go for you in general?
Hopefully we're going to win, of course, but it's as many fast cars out there, so we'll see.
So do you keep up with Formula One? I want to know, you look very like Vettel.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, maybe.
Are you a supporter of your brother?
Of course.
Well, it's the same kind of combinations, but in the long, skinny cars this time round. Top Methanol Dragster, back with a vengeance for 2014. Far lane, Dave Wilson, talk about coming back, had a couple of seasons out, and he's going up in qualifying against Chris Polidano from the beautiful island of Malta. We got a bit of a Maltese invasion in both Top Methanol Dragster and Top Fuel again this summer. Dave Wilson with a cylinder or two out, makes a full run though for 5.68. Chris, a little bit later down the racetrack, but a 5.55, not a bad start at all to their campaigns for this season. Well, I mentioned the Maltese invasion. The last time he was here, he won the European Championship. That was back in 2012. And there he is, Manti Bugaya, warming the tyres in his supercharged methanol car, the Mr. Whippy gang. That's the car owner, Joe Karabot, bringing him into stage. He's up against Johnny Lag from Sweden with another one of those really good A-fuel cars. This car used to belong to Christy Johansson. Johnny, been away from racing for nearly 30 years, decided to make a go of it again. Well, and go he was, but it's the Mr. Whippy car, 5.57, 2.62. Problems that time round for Johnny Lag, though, actually breaking stuff on the engine. That would be the last we saw of him this weekend, unfortunately. And look at that great shot as well from the, well, I was going to say, you'd have to be a wasp to get that view at SantaPod Raceway most of the time. Our next pair, our brothers, Timo and Dennis Habermann from Germany. New superchargers on the car's been out for a season, and boy have they come back strong. I'm going to shut up and let you watch this. Number one qualifier and the third quickest supercharged run in the world. Timo Habermann, 5.24. His brother Dennis goes 5.31. That would have been a number one qualifying run if his brother in the other lane wasn't being one of the quickest on the planet.
Who fared better out of both of you?
I think we felt both good or brilliant. I mean, in the second one I ran 5.24, and this means this is the fastest run outside America.
It could be also 5.20 with my car, but I know that both cars can go quicker. Even Timo's car can go quicker.
Nita, you were second last year. How do you think you're going to get on this season?
I've got a new car now and a lot of new parts. It's always, how to say, complicated because everything is new to see how they are actually running. But all the investments has been done that the car is even faster. And the purpose is, of course, to be faster than last year. And but let's see how things will start from this first event.
You're one of a very few number of women in the sport. What does drag racing mean to you? Why drag racing?
Hey, it's my life. I don't know, I can't give you any more explanations for that, but yeah, it's my life.
Tell me, why have you come here? Why do you do drag racing?
Drag racing is our life, drag racing is what we love, we live for this. And drag racing lives in England, so all the people's here, the crowd is awesome here at main event. That's what we love the fans, they support us, and that's why we are here.
You've got the boss behind you. What do you think of beating him?
Yeah, that will be perfect, but I'm still learning. It's my first season. I will see. I'm happy if I get qualified and get some points home to Switzerland. And yeah, we will see.
Looking ahead to the season, how do you think you're going to fare?
Yeah, we are pretty good prepped, but we will go one testing at the Easter race, but then it's rain off on Monday, so we have not really tested the car, but we look forward. Everything is okay.
You've got Noah racing for you this season.
Yeah.
What is it going to be like if he beats you?
Yeah, we will see that later. It's a new thing, but yeah, it will happen, it happens, but the better will win.
So we're on with qualifying for FIA Top Fuel Dragsters. The kings of the sport, we're on board with Urs. And just on the other side of the racetrack, you can see Duncan Mikkela disappear out of view. Urs with a nice strong run to open his campaign. But I think all of the fuel teams this weekend suffering a little bit from the lack of testing, but not everybody. So your next pair, Anita Merkele, we've seen her already up against Thomas Nators, defending champ. Over 1,000 foot in Europe, he's in the far lane. What a storming side-by-side run, only the second ever run on that new car. Thomas goes to number one with the quickest ever run in Europe, 3.91 at 309 miles an hour.
So Thomas, massive congratulations. What a way to secure the number one spot. How do you feel?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, it's the first run with a completely new car and new setup and everything. So yeah, we're really satisfied that it responds to what we did with it. So yeah, feel good.
Did you have any idea that you would be breaking records when you came here today?
We have a good feeling that we got the good stuff and the guys get it together and also, yeah, we figured out it would go fast.
Well, as promised, this weekend is also a round of the FIM Bike Series. Some of the most incredible machines you'll ever see on two wheels. So we're going to kick things off on two wheels with Super Street Bike. This is Dave Holland from the UK. And that is how to ride a bike. Whoever says riding a bike in a straight line is easy has never seen one of these things go down a racetrack. What a run. Still runs at 199 miles an hour, would you believe? We're now on board with Morganslund. As you see the start line crew and everybody disappear into the distance at an amazing rate of knots. But for all of the qualifying, it was that man you see again right there. Dave Holland ended up being number one qualifier for Super Street Bike.
So Freddie, you're defending your title. Have you made any changes to the bike since last season?
We changed a little bit in the engine and also a little bit on the chassis. We made some few things that we think should make the bike go quicker.
Well, this is qualifying for the Pro Stockers. Near lane, Gert-Jan Lesueur with the Buell. Far lane, Martin Bishop from the UK. And Gert-Jan goes really quickly indeed. He ended up number two. That 7:24 would hold him in real good stead. But number one qualifier, no huge shock. That's Frederick Friedland down in the 7.0s again. That is a splatted wasp's eye view of the racetrack from a Pro Stock bike.
You're the 2013 Top Fuel champion. What do you think of this season?
Well, so far we've had a great time because we went to America a few weeks ago and we won the event there, ran a 5-second pass, got in the famous 5-second club in America. So actually we've sort of come here, we hope, hitting the ground running. So let's see what comes today.
Well, let's hope that's not an unfortunate analogy about hitting the ground running. Look at that for a Top Fuel bike run. Whoever's holding that camera needs a medal, I tell you. Inking goes to number one. This is from the other angle, up against Rikard Gustafsson in the near lane. Ian King, far side of the racetrack. Didn't quite make it into the fives, but it wasn't for want of trying. Had to click it off just before the finish line, but he was number one. So more two-wheeled action, far side of the racetrack. Samu Kampanen with the Nitro Twins, defending European champ. That was Ronnie Olsen, near side of the racetrack. Not having a good day, unfortunately. He still got qualified, but not where he wanted to be. This is your number one qualifying run, and I dare you to see whether that front wheel comes down at all. And it does at the finish line. 661, 217 miles an hour.
So that's it for qualifying from a very sunny Sunday here at SantaPod. It was all about this man today, breaking European records. Can he do the same tomorrow? He says he can go faster. Find out after the break. Welcome back to SantaPod. Well, what a difference a day makes. It's Bank Holiday Monday, and of course, it's raining, isn't it? But the weather forecast is suggesting that there will be a gap in the rain so that we can get on with racing. The crowds are waiting for racing to happen, the track guys are out getting the track ready, and the drivers are in the pits getting ready for racing. So unfortunately they're having to take the cars back because the rain got the better of us, but stay with us because we've got all the action from the Easter meeting.
For this weekend, it's the Festival of Power over the Easter Bank Holiday weekend. It's the first time a lot of these teams have been out with new cars, new combinations. It's going to be very exciting. So, first runs of the year for both of these two. Gareth Ellis, far lane. Danny Bellio with the orange car near side of the racetrack. Two very strong runs indeed. And Danny Bellio through the finish line with one of his quickest runs ever, but that looks like a big problem. We're here in the pits with Danny Bellio and his top Methanol funny car from Belgium. Danny, your first outing of the year didn't go according to plan, really, did it?
No, we didn't plan this because we went in the field a few times and it's not so funny.
What kind of goes through your mind in the car when you're waiting for the chutes to hit? Because it's quite a big hit, isn't it, when they come out and it doesn't happen? What do you start thinking?
Yeah.
In the funny car pits with the West End team, Kevin, this is your first outing of the year. How's it going so far?
Yeah, so far so good.
Have you changed anything, stepped it up?
We just pretty much come out with it the same as last year, and then we'll step it up as we go through, you know.
Is this the first race car you've ever really driven as well, is it?
Yeah.
It is. So
it is.
From zero to nitro funny car, just for those people at home that don't quite get how big a step it is, go on, if you can, in a sentence or two.
Yeah, it's a massive step, yeah. I can't compare it because there's nothing else I can compare it to.
Well, not just Fuel Funny Car, we have Top Fuel Dragsters here testing as well. Noah, your first weekend of the season this year, what's it like driving this car from driving your old Supercomp car?
It was a really big step, and yeah, I was a little bit scared when I done my license before I had my first run. But after I had my first run, it was just unbelievable, and I want every second to go back in my car.
And your hopes for this year as well, you're going to be a two-car team with us. The European Championship is going to be very tough as well with you two this summer.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. We saw other teams has bought some new cars, new parts like we had done, and I think it's going to be a really interesting season. And you know, in Top Fuel, everything is possible.
I will try my best to get some good results this year.
What I've got to ask you as well, obviously you're still a teenager. What do your teenage friends think of you driving the fastest car in the world?
Yeah, my friends, they play football or play tennis or stuff. They say, Noah, you're just crazy.
You've won a few Top Fuel championships now. Your new challenge for this year is a 2-car team.
That's why I'm not racing this weekend, because we want training the new guys and help Robin a little bit to training the guys. And also for Noah, I need some seat time, more seat time.
How many engines do you have, blowers, cylinder heads, that kind of thing? Because it's just mind-boggling the amount of stuff you have to have.
It's about 2 or 3 regular houses, money-wise.
Yeah, what I forgot to ask him was, are those Swiss houses or English houses? I think there's a slight difference, but there we go. We're on to side-by-side action now. Duncan Micallef. And in the far lane for Lucas Oil in the UK, Chris Andrews. Actually going through a bit of a side-by-side match race this weekend, but they are testing before the start of the FIA season. So they go through the tyre warming process of a burnout, backed up very accurately into the burnout track, so they launch into that fresh rubber. Very, very important, obviously, to get maximum traction, so 8,000 horsepower sticks itself to the track as well as possible. So for the big crowd on hand this weekend, side-by-side Top Fuel action. Well, a bone-jarring launch for both of them. Duncan with problems, Chris a little bit better and further down the racetrack, but I'm sure as it goes, they'll be very happy with that. Take a look again in slow motion. You can see Duncan's foot go down. It didn't just shock him, I think it shocked our cameraman as well. And don't those cars look awesome any way you look at them? You can see Chris Andrews' car actually flexing. That's one of the reasons, believe it or not, they are long and skinny. Just to get maximum weight transfer onto the rear tyres. You can see Chris whack the throttle open, all 8 cylinders fire, 8,000 horsepower, rockets off the line. Well, not only wheel-driven vehicles, we have thrust-driven ones as well. The jet cars, ever popular here at SantaPod Raceway, part of the Easter weekend. They actually run side by side to the 8th mile. These are 2 jet dragsters, far side of the racetrack. The split-second car of Julian Webb. On the other side of the racetrack, SantaPod favourite Martin Hill with his newest creation, a Fire Force jet dragster, keeping the crowd warmed up on what was actually a sunny but quite chilly day in April. On to 2 wheels again. This is Graham Bouchin, super street bike rider. You can see his wife disappear into the distance. There's actually Graham that's disappearing into the distance, but a tremendous run for Graham. Another one over 200 miles an hour, would you believe, on a street tyre. Well, anything but on a street tyre. That's René van der Berg, the Your Oil Top Fuel drag bike, producing well over 1,000 brake horsepower these days, Top Fuel bikes. Supercharged 4-cylinder machines. And René comes over from the Netherlands many times a year to race with us here at SantaPod. This was one of his qualifying runs through the Easter weekend. Cracks the throttle, the bike drifts to the left. And he nearly manages to dodge all the cones. Those are actually the reflectors for the timing system. Just manages to catch one, I think around about 1,000 foot with his left foot. So we're back to the jets again, side by side, this time jet funny cars. Martin Hill, you may have heard that name before. This is his other car, a jet funny car, up against Gerd Habermann, the Dragon Hunter, a big favourite when we go down to the Nitro Olympics at Hockenheim in the summer. And they're match racing to the 8th mile. These cars we normally see running solo runs, but for this weekend they've been permitted to run side by side to the 8th mile. So it's Germany against the UK. As the Fire Force team wave goodbye to the crowd. They just nudge into stage. It must be quite difficult for them because they're not used to racing. And as if by magic, Gerd Habermann goes red on the tree. And Martin Hill takes the win in that race. Well, unfortunately, that was actually the beginning of the end at Easter as well. Sadly, the rain won out again. And everybody packs up and moves on to round 2 of the FIA and FIM Championship at Alastaro in Finland in July. We hope to see you then. Thanks for joining us.